The Bix3 is the third plane in the Bixler aeroplane series made by Hobbyking. It is a 5-channel plane, ailerons, elevator, throttle, rudder and flaps. It is a great plane for a very good price. It is a very good plane for FPV and endurance flying and glides very well. There is a lot of space inside to put big batteries and lots of equipment. The wing is solidly built. It has multiple carbon fiber strips that extend to the length of the wing and give it a lot of rigidity. The ailerons and flaps are cut out nicely, and the hinges are actual hinges made of plastic. The wing has an amount of polyhedral which induces a small amount of self-correction while in flight, but generally you will have to correct most of the unwanted movements yourself. The servos come pre-installed with the wires embedded into the wing. It is very easy to install the flap servos, which are not included. This is an added feature. One thing that I do not like is the wing connection system. There are 2 tubes on either wing, and you have to push a metal tube into both of them to connect the wing. This was an incredibly difficult process. The tubes are only just big enough to fit the tube in, and even when lubricated, it still requires a very large amount of force, and there is a high chance of damaging the wing trying to get it in. The next thing is that the tubes in the wings are only very lightly tacked down. You really do need to reinforce this with some sort of glue. I used some epoxy for this and then covered it with tape. The wing is a very sleek design. The leading edge is quite sharp, so it can be damaged or dented very easily. I recommend putting a long strip of packing tape over the leading edge. This does not add too much weight, and it doesn't affect the flight characteristics at all. The wing attaches to the plane with 2 little plastic screw clips. This is a very effective and efficient way of mounting the wings, and I have no problem with it. I have a transmitter set up for 3 settings for the flaps. I have no flaps, a small amount of flaps, which slows the plane down a very small amount, but increases the rate of climb by quite a lot because it increases the lift by quite a lot. And I also have a full flap setting, which is basically just 90 degrees flaps. This increases the lift by a huge amount and slows the plane a lot. It's very good for landing in tight spaces. The Bix3 is configured as a pusher plane, which means that the motor is facing backwards. This is a good thing because if you crash, you generally hit nose first, and because the motor is on the back of the plane, it is a lot less likely to get damaged. It also means that if you have a camera on the nose pointing forwards, there is not going to be a propeller in the middle of your view. The power system consists of a 20 amp ESC, a brushless 2836 1400 kV motor, and an 8x4 prop. The plane has good power and climbs well. I think the power system could have been done a little bit better, to be honest. The motor is not of the highest quality. The shaft has been machined down to a smaller diameter to fit a certain size prop adapter. Also, the propeller does not come balanced at all. If you don't want your plane to vibrate like crazy and destroy your motor, you should balance your propeller. The tail is a good design. The things that I like about it is that it has a steerable tail wheel attached to the rudder for turning on the ground. I thought the rudder was a bit small to start off with, but it serves its purpose very well in flight. The elevator is a nice large elevator. Both the elevator and rudder have foam hinges, so instead of using an actual mechanical hinge, it relies off the bending of the foam, which is not reliable over long periods of time, so I recommend reinforcing this with a strip of tape. I don't know why they couldn't have included actual hinges for the flaps for the rudder and elevator, because they did for the flaps and ailerons. The thing that I don't like about the tail is that it is not removable. It has to be permanently glued into place. I used epoxy glue for this, by the way. If you need to replace the tail, you would need to cut it out with a knife or something, which would not be ideal and very difficult. They should have used a simple attachment mechanism such as the use of 2 screws or something along those lines. The landing gear I haven't used because the wheels are really small. This is okay if you have a smooth surface like concrete to take off and land on, but I only have grass, so they are no good. I would have preferred the wheels to be slightly larger, as this wouldn't really have affected the flight characteristics at all. The flight characteristics of this plane are very nice. It glides very well, and I even find it difficult to land sometimes because it just keeps gliding. The flaps help it slow down a lot during landing. It is very difficult to stall, and when it does, the nose just drops. I have noticed a very small amount of wing drop during a stall, but this is not serious at all. It will recover from dives and high-angle maneuvers by itself very easily. Although I have stated many issues with the Bix3, in the end it is a very cheap plane which delivers very well for the price. I would pay a little extra to get a little higher quality in some of the areas I stated, such as the wing connection and the power system. These problems are quite specific. They do not prevent or reduce the usability of the plane very much at all. The flight characteristics are what I would consider good for a beginner, and someone like me that wants a stable platform for FPV, and just an all-round fun plane to fly. For the price, I recommend it. Thank you for watching. Bye.